start? Ready to go?
Ready, steady. Okay, we're ready. Okay.
Okay. So, let me first do the introduction in Czech. Okay. Takže vás všechny vítám zde v sále LDO, tady na naší krásné ZUŠ Vítězslava Nováka v Jindřichově Hradci. Vítám i všechny eventuálně posluchače a sledující online přenosu. Takže dnes jsme se tady sešli ku poměrně vzácné příležitosti, bych tak řekl. Je zde můj dlouholetý kámoš z Berklee, Jaredem Davisem, kytarista, skladatel, dobrý kámoš, spoluhráč prostě. Uslyšíte určitě o něm během jeho prezentace víc. A myslím, že můžeme na to jít, kdykoliv se nebojte něčeho zeptat, si myslím, nebo takhle. Je to převážně věnováno kytarové hře, ale bude to věnováno i obecně, tak nějak jakože hudebnickým, jakože věcem obecným, jo? Že jsme tak nějak pobrali jakože víc obecně. Okay. So, yeah, first let me say hi to you all and welcome, herzlich willkommen. Yeah, it's my big pleasure to introduce to you my big friend of mine, Jareda Davise. The story. Yeah, for the rest of the presentation, we'll be speaking English to make things easier for both Jared and you all. Okay. So the story began like 2015. Right?
Yeah.
Our story like together. We met at a class at Berklee College of Music in Boston.
That's right.
I was studying bass guitar. Jared was studying electric guitar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, your major was performance.
Yep, that's right.
And we met in a class that had nothing to do with music at all, right?
Yeah, it was like a literature or writing class.
Writing and communication.
Yeah, creative writing, communication.
Yeah, especially for me it was like very hard.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, in like a second language, you know?
I didn't understand anything you said in Czech. So.
Yeah, our assignment was to bring a book, like kind of favorite book to the class and give a presentation about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I took a book from a local library, and there was autobiography of David Ellefson of the band called Megadeth. And I was like reading through the book, and he said, "Hey, do you like David Ellefson?" "Yeah, I do. Me too. Let's go and have some jam." Okay, so we had a couple of jams, right?
Yeah.
Then a couple of beers.
True.
As well. And then, like my very last night in Boston, I was like, "Hey, Jared, come to Czech Republic someday." "Yeah, okay. Now we have a Berklee campus in Valencia as well in Europe, and I'm gonna take it, right? Take some 1 or 2 semesters."
Yeah, I stayed there for two semesters.
Exactly. So that was like your trip to Europe, right?
It was my first time, yeah.
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 So it's your probably like 4th time
I think it's
in
my
Czech Republic.
4th time in Czech Republic. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. 2nd time in Europe, maybe? Or 3rd time?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
2nd or 3rd, but in Czech Republic.
But in Czech
yeah.
Republic, 4th time.
4th
Yeah.
time. Nice job.
Yeah.
You know some words in Czech already? Expect on the dirty ones.
Yeah, you know, necessary words like pivo,
Yeah.
děkuji, tak.
Yeah. That should be enough before he starts talking.
Basic words.
Yeah. There are some like more advanced words, right? And,
Sure.
and we don't want to hear them. Okay. Yeah. Not tonight. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. My name is Miloš, by the way, and I teach electric guitars and electric basses, which is bass guitar is my primary instrument. So I will try to guide you a little and be like ready to help, but the presentation is up to Jared. Okay. Yeah, we had some good collaborations through the years, and it's your like final trip after like 7 years, right?
Yeah, last time I was here was like 7 years ago.
Good.
Long time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's yours. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
So yeah, forgive me for not speaking German or Czech. If you can't understand, just, I don't know, raise your hand. Maybe somebody can translate if I'm not using a common word or something. But I wanted to give a presentation on improvisation and composition as a way to practice. So everybody in here is a musician, right? Like everybody? If you're a musician, raise your hand. Everybody is, right, okay. How many of you improvise or compose your own music? You can raise your hand. Okay, not that many actually. So if you practice, maybe you're practicing scales and songs and things like that. But back in maybe like the Baroque era, improvising and composition was also a part of their practice. They thought you had to be like a well-rounded musician. And I agree with this. I think improvisation and composition is one of my favorite ways, if sometimes the only way I practice. So yeah, let's talk about it. But yeah, a little bit about me if you want to know. I'm from California. I started playing at like age 15 and never had a teacher. I was like self-taught until I went to Berklee with Miloš. I never had a teacher before, and that was the first time. And then so graduated Berklee in performance, but then I was really interested in composition, so I did a master's in Texas in composition. I used to be in a funk band as a lead guitarist for a few years. I've composed lots of pieces with several ensembles, and I have a guitar duo where we mostly play atonal jazz. If you have any idea what that is, or don't, that's okay. And I've written 3 books. 2 are about guitar, and 1 is about atonal improvisation. And currently I work at the University of Texas, San Antonio as the events manager for the School of Music, which means I run all the concerts, we do all the bookings, work with the artists, set up all the technical stuff, and I have like a team of students, and it's fun. We make sure all the concerts work and are going well. Anyway, that's me. Here are some cool pictures of me doing those various things. But let's get into it. So, what if anybody wants to like shout it out? What do you think it means to improvise? Anybody has a suggestion?
Just do what you feel.
Do what you feel. Okay. Yeah. Any other ideas? Do what you feel. Going once. Going twice. Yeah. Pretty much do what you feel, or you're just making stuff up, right? It's like very spontaneous, on the fly, you know, you're just in the moment making things out of nothing. What do you think it means to compose? Anybody shout out?
Do what you feel on the paper.
Do what you feel on the paper. I love that. Yeah, pretty much to create something, right? That's what I think. Like if you compose something, you're creating something, maybe doing what you feel on paper. Yeah, exactly. But is there even a difference? Let's see like what types of ways you can improvise, right? Like you're making something up. It could be random. It doesn't have to be very thought out. It can be total nonsense if you want it to be. It could just be noise. I mean, if I just make noise, like I just improvised with noise, right? It can express a feeling, doing what you feel. If you're feeling some sort of way and you want to convey that to someone else or yourself. It could have a theme. Most music has a theme, especially in classical music. They take a single theme and they write a whole symphony based on that single theme. It can have a form, you can have structure or not, and it can also tell a story. Like even with random noises, you can tell a story. You can have to make characters and take them on a journey. But is there a difference between all of those things when you're improvising and then when you compose? I think it's totally the same. I mean, if I'm I can compose something, I'm making something up when I compose something. I can compose something random, sometimes it comes out pretty cool. Sometimes a lot of my friends compose noise, just to make cool noise, you know? Many people compose to express feeling, and like I said, a theme in classical music. Of course, classical music has forms, so does rock and blues. And usually, if not always, the music tells some kind of story. There's always a beginning and an elaboration. And improvising is pretty much the same thing. Somebody told me once that to improvise is composing very slowly. Is composing very quickly, and composing is improvising very slowly. It's a very gray area between the two things. So, what does it mean to like make noise? It's super easy. Like I just did it, right? Like this is noise and this is noise. You just make noise. Expressing a feeling. What does it mean if something is angry? I mean, if I stomp and shake things, like I'm angry, right? If I'm happy, maybe my voice goes up and I talk like this to people and I play in a major scale, very happy. You know, you get it. You can express a feeling, whatever kind of feeling you want to do. So why don't actually Miloš and I, do you want to come and try to improvise some of the feelings?
Right.
Well, first, actually, let's just improvise with noise. Random. Right. Exactly.
I think like some of the younger students inspired me. Yeah, you can speak.
Of course. So maybe you're very anxious in your lesson and you don't want to just sit there. You want to fiddle and drop your pick through your strings. Who knows? Maybe you pretend you're Jimi Hendrix and you bite your strings. Guess what? You're improvising and you're making noise. Okay, so now what would angry? What do you think? Let's start something angry. That was pretty angry, right? I think so. I don't know, pick one of the other. Anybody shout out an emotion on the list, and we'll try to do that one too. Anybody? Don't be shy.
Boring.
What is it?
Boring.
Boring. I like this one. Do you think we looked bored when we were doing that? Okay. Okay, so you get it. So what I think is really cool is, I could sit there by myself with my friend, or with my friend and practice, practice a bunch of scales or like arpeggios. But you can also practice improvising and making things up. You should sit with your friends and practice making noise. Maybe pick a feeling and see if you can, communicate that feeling not with words, but just with your instruments. I think it's a great way to practice. Making a theme So a theme can also be anything. And thank you, Miloš, for coming. My personal stage assistant, Miloš. Okay. So a theme can be anything. Noise can be a theme. An emotion can be a theme. But, you know, since we're talking about music, notes can be your theme. Rhythms can be your themes. Or forms can be your themes. And a theme can be like the foundation for how you improvise or compose. Like I said, in classical music, maybe you have one single melody that's, and the melody expands, right? I'm just taking the theme and kind of playing with it, right? Did I improvise right now or compose? I'm not sure. Like, it was both. Only rhythm, so ask a drummer if they play notes, right? But they also improvise and compose. They don't have to play notes. You can use a single rhythmic figure, like it could be 2 notes, maybe any variation of 2 notes. Right? Improvising with 2 notes, or like 2 rhythmic strikes. You could improvise with rhythm in a meter. If I'm playing in 4/4, 1, 3, 4. Right? A fun example. Hopefully, I wonder if this will work if I click it. Does it? It does not. Okay. 1 second. I'll show you a pretty cool example of music that is only rhythm. And you can also use only notes. It's like a single note. I think there's a famous Beethoven symphony that's only 1 note, kind of, isn't it? Number 7? I'll have to look it up. But with only notes, you could use just 1 note. Maybe I have a single note here, and I want to make chords or something that goes under it. notes could be an interval, could be like a third. Or you can use a chord or an arpeggio, something like that. And of course, a melody, like I showed you before with whatever that example was, like. Right? Improvising with melody. And another, I want to show you actually an example of a piece of music that only has one note. I don't know if you've ever seen this video.
Did John want to start and you give me the number?
I can do it.
But this is called One Note Samba.
Yeah, so they can see you.
Ready? You got your note?
No, but I'm ready. All right.
All right, now. Wait a minute.
Yes.
I'll tell you. Now. Ba, esa que se minha feito numa nota só. Ba, outras notas vão entrar, massa base e uma só. Ba, esta muda a consequência de o que acabo de dizer. Ba, como se a consequência inevitável de você. That's enough. Quanta gente vive por aí que fala verbo não diz nada, ou quase nada. Já ouviu deles repetições outras que ela não opina sobre nada. Não digo nada. Ba, e
Yeah, so the melody, the theme is all pretty much one note. He expands on it, you know, but the theme is really just that one note. I mean, like, how many different ways can you play one note? I mean, you can tell the whole story with just one note. I can play harmonics. All one note. Okay, where am I now? So again, you can sit by yourself or with your friends and take either some kind of rhythm or a meter or a single note, or 2 notes or 3 notes, and use it as a way to practice. Telling a story, you know, it doesn't matter what you're using, noise or notes or not, but your story kind of has to have characters. Maybe if my character is just noise, you introduce it. Maybe I have another character that is up here. And then you take those characters and expand them. So you develop them, take the noise. Maybe this one. Right? Expand them to show more information about those characters. And then your story basically is how does it end? Are they going to have a happy ending? Are they all going to die in some tragic, sad ending? It's up to you whether you're improvising or composing. You get to decide, or maybe just go with the flow of what you're feeling and not decide. But there's also like simple forms. Miloš, do you want to come back? This is like the last part. Okay, Miloš, everybody, welcome back to the stage.
You're the superstar here.
Yeah, but I like to, have a friend to practice with. So, does anybody know what a vamp is? Say it again? No? Okay. A vamp is like something that you just have on repeat. So a vamp could be one chord, it could be anything. A really common vamp is Well, let's just do one chord, you know. This is like a super common vamp, just. Of music more specifically. So an ostinato could be a melodic ostinato, like and then you can change it. Your ostinato.
Won't be able to follow it, but
no, you don't have to play exactly what I'm saying. We're just making stuff up, right? Another simple form is like you have one section and then a contrasting section. So let's say we use our vamp we did for, I don't know, maybe like 4 bars, and then we change it to something else. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, whatever. Don't think about it. We're going to improvise. 2, 3, 4. You can also, this is like one of the most common ones, especially for composers and songwriters. You have an introductory section and then a contrasting section, and then you go back to the first one to kind of give it an ending, because if you just have 2 sections, the second section is kind of like, where are we going with this? Like, we went somewhere and we didn't come back home. So why don't we try just a little bit of randomness, okay? But the first part of our randomness we'll come back to at the end. Does that make sense?
no.
Yeah, I think you get it. Okay, I'm gonna do something random. Different variations of this. You just have different sections, and you can try any of these with your friends. Of course, there are progressions is another type of form. Like you can do this in a key or not. It doesn't really matter as long as you are kind of giving yourself a path to follow. It can be chords, like I could say I'm playing A minor to C, to D7, to G7, or something like that, and then you play that as your form, right? A progression. It could be a progression of noises or randomness also, as long as you stick to what you decide is the progression. And then of course, another one is the blues. This is a great thing for people to get into improvising. It's usually, you just play in one key. You can sometimes just use a single scale. The blues itself is a progression of chords. I don't know how much you know about like what these Roman numerals are, it doesn't matter. But let's just play like, a blues progression in E.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. 3, 4. And the form of the blues, and of course,
it kind of means that the first, like number 1, is your tonica.
Yeah.
The first degree of the scale, right?
Yeah.
Which is in our case is key. E, sorry, E, of course. The fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, subdominant. In our case, A. And we have kind of third, fourth.
Yeah.
H in our world, European,
Oh,
but
that's
in
right.
their world it's B.
Right.
Because B in our world it's B flat.
Right.
Okay,
right.
it confused me several times.
Yeah.
Everybody was like screaming at Berklee, like B, 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 and I was like, B, 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 not B flat. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. I said, our world, I think in Germany it's the same. We have H, right? So H is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th degree.
Right.
And we work with that. Okay, that's what the numbers mean.
Right. Yeah. If you wanted to know, or I don't know if you already know that. But you know, your form can be anything. Blues is just one example. But all these ways are tools to give you a new way to practice by yourself or with your friend, rather than boring scales and whatever with a metronome. I mean, you need to do it, don't get me wrong, but like, I think it's so much more fun to practice improvising, creating something, composing something. And like Miloš said, the only real difference is, are you gonna write it down or not? You can improvise something, record it. You don't even have to write it down. If you recorded it, you technically just composed that. So, that's it. That's my spiel. Compose and improvise as a form of practice.
Okay.
That's it. Does anybody have questions?
Nějaké otázky klidně česky?
Any questions? None at all. Everything made sense. You totally understand. You're going to come up here and improvise now that you totally understand it. Anybody? Okay. Well, if you want to talk to us, come hang out and ask us questions, or if you want to play with us, you can do that too. But thank you so much for coming. It was fun to present this. And that's it. Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Jack, for coming.
Maybe, I don't know, do you want to just play something while people leave? That makes sense.
Yeah, let's talk about some technique as well. I'll be really happy. Yeah, are there any like electric guitar players in the room?
Well,
Yeah.
nice.
Nice. You don't have to perform.
No.
We're just asking if you're curious.
Well, let's do what we're talking about. Let's just make something up and.
Yeah, we can even play your tune if you want.
No.
If I remember now, but yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just make something
Let's
up.
do maybe a little more blues. Yeah, could you show the form? Maybe, yeah, I will just explain, a little. Okay, so it's like 4 bars, I think, right? Or this is pretty much like 1 bar.
Right.
2, 2,
Yeah,
2,
yeah, yeah.
3, and 4, and 1, and
Yeah.
2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2,
Correct.
and 3, 4, 4, 4, and down. But now 4 degree, right? So 2 bars of down, the second, then return to E, H, E, 3, or then now, yeah, we can just continue into E or transfer to B or H, right? Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow the form. It's one of the blues to me means like a universal musical language. Yeah, like the easiest way to play with anybody like else from other countries. I would say it's a really great thing to learn. Okay. So let's just do the same stuff again. Okay.
Okay.
And let's see what happens. Yeah, then we can show some pentatonics probably and how to improvise them.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, let's
whatever.
begin with the form, like maybe 3 circles.
Sure.
Okay, let's do 3 circles. Okay, and give it some form.
Okay.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. simple form, what you were doing while you were soloing.
I was either improvising or composing with
Right.
the form of the blues, and some of the notes that I know work good over them. Nothing very specific. I mean, you have to learn the language if you want to sound like a blues player, which can be scales and different arpeggios
Yeah.
and
Do you have any
chord
like
shapes.
favorite blues guitar players or blues bands? Some
Oh.
tips for us to listen?
Oh gosh, don't put me on the spot.
Yeah, try your best. I know it's always hard.
Man, I mean, I like jazz blues. I think Barney Kessel's really good, or God, what's his name? I'm very bad with names. Grant Green,
Okay.
or oh my gosh, I can't think. Yeah, those are good. Grant Green, Barney Kessel, those guys are good. Stevie Ray Vaughan is classic. Jimi Hendrix does the blues. Yeah. How about? Well, yeah. I mean, do you want me to like say like what a pentatonic is?
Yeah,
or
let's
something?
say I'm a guitar player and I want to do some very simple solo. Okay, what's the best way how to start? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, since we're playing in E, you would use, maybe as your first thing is an E minor pentatonic. Penta just means 5 notes, and it's really, it comes from the major pentatonic. It's just the inversion of it. But it's pretty easy to learn on the guitar. It's usually the first thing everybody learns. If you don't play guitar, it's very easy to play on piano or flute or something like that. And then what makes it bluesy is kind of putting these notes in between the notes. So in some of these spots where I have a whole step 2 notes apart, you put one of those that play that middle note, or maybe a note above it. Makes it sound pretty bluesy. So that's a good way probably to start with the blues. Just a minor pentatonic.
Alright.
But try to play some of those notes in between it or around it also.
Good. So can we do 2 more cycles with the solos?
Well, why don't we do something else? Like,
Okay.
why don't we
Yeah, why
just do let's improvise with 1 note. Okay. Let's try that.
Okay.
So, pick a note. Anybody pick a note?
H.
H. I was hoping somebody would say H. Okay, H is our note. Somebody please pick something for us. Anything. 1 note, 2 notes, a rhythm, a rhythmic figure, a meter. Shout it out. I don't care. I know you speak English. Come on. Guitar player, give us something.
Maybe like 3 notes or like let's say 4 notes, and just like pop music often goes with 4 notes or accords. Like just you say A, C, G, and B. It's often used. So that's some movements.
Okay, wait. So 4 notes, but like as a progression. Okay. What is the notes? What quick?
Yeah, that was like the most common probably chord progression. That was the probably like meant. Right? It's like
What,
one,
like a 1, 6, 4, 5 or something?
5, I think.
1, 5.
6
Uh-huh.
and 4.
Okay. Are those the notes you said? Oh,
Yeah, 4 notes, $1 million. What do you have?
4 notes.
Yeah.
Back to like the melody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some kind of ending. So we tried some of the things, like we took your idea, but then made a melody, and then improvised the melody. Was it composed or improvised? Again, I don't really see a difference. And we're practicing. You're watching us sit here and practice, right? This is the most fun way to practice, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like you learn the most like with other people probably I would say, and
Yeah.
the most like on the stage, like practicing
Especially
at
for
home
Yeah.
and practicing on the stage is something like much more like different.
Especially when you're spontaneously making things, because your friend is going to think of different things than you do, and it's your job to listen to what they're playing and respond to it with whatever tools you're deciding on using, right? Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much.
Okay.
Any further questions?
Já bych chtěl spíš jenom říct, ale budu mluvit česky, protože už jsem úplně uangličtinovaný, tak tě Miloši poprosím. Já jsem viděl vaši hodinu a nemůžu na něj zapomenout a jsem z ní strašně nadšený, protože to, co jste nám tady vlastně teď předvedli, já jsem viděl s 9letým klukem a bylo to něco neuvěřitelného. A já bych se chtěl zeptat, jestli Jared dělá něco takového i s takovými praxkama, jestli takhle vlastně funguje v té výuce.
Okay, so our director Wojta, he visited our lessons together. You
Right.
With Vitya, the 9-year-old.
Right.
And he was so happy over it that he is not able to forget about it.
Okay.
And the question was that whether you did or have done something like this with some children of that type in the U.S.
Of course,
You
yeah.
have some experiences already.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I taught private lessons at a similar, not as nice of a school, but as type of school, and people all ages, from like age 6 to 70, or I had a guy in his 80s. But I usually always try to have them try to improvise things and compose things. It doesn't have to just be with blues, or, you know, sometimes if we're learning type of scale, maybe it's the major scale, right? Sometimes I will assign people to use the scale and compose something at home with it, and then come back and show me what they have, right? And you can help them, suggestions like, you know, tell them to make a theme, or don't make a theme, you know, or have like two contrasting things, or tell them to make one melody and then a different one and come back to the first one, like the ABA form. Yeah, and also something I'd love to tell people, if they are learning the blues or trying to play a solo over some progression, is actually using these forms in your solos. So if I am playing the blues, like let's just do the E blues again.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. So you can use, keep going, just keep going. You can use a theme like maybe, this is going to be my A theme. So I'm going to play AAB in this form after we come back. A lot of people don't practice this, and they just kind of right. Just play a bunch of nonsense, and can get very boring. Actually, your ears get tired. of all these notes, and for some reason, we humans like to hear forms and melodies and things that repeat. So it'll make you sound very professional if you're in some kind of blues or jazz or some kind of jam to try using these forms in your solos, if that makes sense. So I usually use that as a form of practice for my students. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so any other ideas about where to go?
Wow, do we have more time or what? It's 8:30.
Well, it's up to you. If you want to stay for a while, we can just keep some talking.
Okay. Well, that was a great question. Thank you for that question.
Thank you for yours.
Yeah. But yeah, I've also used noise and randomness. Like, I'll tell some of my students, even if they're total beginners, I don't care. Like, look at your instrument, whatever it is, think of all the noises it makes, and try to tell me a story. Try to write something that tells a story, right? It can start quiet, it can start loud. Does it get fast? Does it get slow? How does it end, right? It's up to you, but it's really fun to see, like, I'll tell a student to do this, and they come back a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever, and maybe they don't realize that they just made a composition, right? Like, they think they're just playing noise, but have you heard contemporary classical music? I mean, sometimes it is really just organized noise. And if you come up with, you can follow these forms too with noise, and congratulations, you're a composer, right? Like, if I've had students come and they like, this noise, and then maybe they play a different noise, I don't know. But they put it, the goal is to tell a story with your noises, and at least kind of give it some progression, right? How does it start? Where does it go? And that's really it. But that's really fun to see them go home and just like think of all the noises they can make, and then come back with a composition of noises. So, homework assignment, make some composed noises, a composition of noises. Yeah, I like doing that with my students too. Especially if you've never composed before, it's like a great kind of just no pressure test or like way to practice composition.
Yeah, so all your students are required to do that? Or not?
I mean, I don't really have requirements, but like,
Right.
I think it's good to force people kind of to explore composition and improv, no matter what stage they're in. Like, you're a student that likes to do this constantly. Then maybe tell him to take all those, anxious noises and write something with them, right? Go home and, well, if you like doing them so much, start putting it in a piece of music, right? And I bet you he would come up with something, right?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah, let's turn the noise into something like more useful and say,
Yeah.
maybe I will find a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's good to turn it around, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, as a bass player, I always wanted to be better with pick topic, right? Do you have any
Guitar
tips?
specific question?
Exactly. Yeah. So, did you have any tips how to be better with a pick, or would you like? Would you just give me some 5-minute guides?
I mean, I can. People have such different opinions about it.
Right.
But I mean, it's like a general beginner's guide. I always tell people, okay, if you're right-handed, put the pick in your left hand and take your right thumb totally across it like horizontal, and you curl your index finger around so that the pick is perpendicular to your thumb, and that's the best, that's the easiest and for me, the most efficient way to do it.
Mhm.
Because you have a very strong grip, it doesn't fall out, and yeah, I mean, some people, you know, they hold it like this, or some people even do it like this, like Eddie Van Halen does that. Jimi Hendrix used like 2 or 3 fingers sometimes, like Pat Metheny does like kind of a weird 2-finger thing too. But I think like if I were to, you know, in a classical sense, say
Right.
the proper technique, it would be to hold it like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But also
It
like,
does, but if you play, yeah, it doesn't end up with that, right? You have some like a task to
well,
accomplish, right? So
well, but
yeah,
then
what
it's
would
like,
you do next?
then it's
Yeah.
like the angle. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You don't want to pick it totally flat against a string.
Mhm.
You want to kind of angle it, and
Right.
you actually use the really thin part instead of the flat part. So that's when you angle it, you're using the thin part instead of the flat part, because the flat part kind of gets stuck, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to angle it to the thin part. That way it can push through the strings. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, to me,
yeah.
yes. I got
Yeah.
a little experience, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a great guide.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is for the one guitar player? Does anybody else play guitar? I know you do, but you know how to hold it. Yeah, well, if there's guitar players on the live stream, there you go. How to hold a pick. Yeah.
Mhm. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, right.
Yeah, any other questions?
Nobody else?
Peter, question.
How I can some question if I'm not a musician.
Uh-huh.
I am a painter, and your speech
even
was very interesting for me
Uh-huh.
because you spoke for musician, but you speak was for me you speak was very similar for my work because I'm a brush artist,
Right.
I'm painter, and my steps how make some design is very similar like a compose of music.
Of course, yeah.
Because
I think it's very
I have to improvise, and after that I can make a final design.
Right, right.
And I'm very surprised how these two disciplines can be connected and can be similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I a little bit afraid that your speak will be a little bit boring for me, but absolutely not, because I found I saw my work in your work.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's totally true.
I'm
Right?
very surprised.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
us.
good. I'm
For
glad.
us, it was kind of challenging to find the right topic, right? Because we didn't know how many guitar players would show up.
Right.
We just knew that there would be music school students from Germany,
Mhm.
but not probably like everybody will be guitar players. So we wanted to kind of more general, like a topic,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So for everyone, simply. Yeah.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was the point.
It is, you know, across all art forms, like, how do you begin to create something, right? You kind of
You showed me how explain my work for other people, because sometimes I make some workshops, similar workshops
Right.
like yours, and this your speak is very inspiring for me.
Good.
How make my workshops.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that.
I thank you.
Yeah.
I would like, as I have the same feeling like you, because I'm the drama teacher,
Uh-huh.
and we improvised very often,
Right.
and it's really the same work, the same system of improvising on the stage. It's the same.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, especially with emotions too, I'm sure, right? And maybe taking a theme.
moving, some move is very nice impulse for improvising theater, for example.
Right,
So
right.
It's really the same system, the same way how to make some theater.
Yep.
I think it's interesting too, because if you do like acting or drama or theater, they do improvise quite often, right? As a way to practice. Like improv is sometimes its own topic, right? But it's crazy, like I teach at a university that's mostly classical music students, and almost none of them improvise or compose. And I think that's crazy. Like, if you're a musician and you don't compose or improvise, like, what are you even doing? I mean, in my opinion, like, that's crazy. Like, oh, you're a singer? Do you write songs? No. Why not? You should. Do you play guitar? Do you improvise? Like, no. I only play Bach preludes and Scarlatti or whatever, you know. Well, not Scarlatti, that's a bad example, but Carcassi. But why not improvise, you know? Why not compose with the things you've learned? It just makes so much sense to me, and that used to be the way that you had to learn it, like in the Baroque era. You know, that was part of your practice, was composing and improvising. You know, Bach could improvise a whole fugue on the spot. That's crazy. Did he compose it or improvise it? Like, yes, he did both, you know. It's crazy. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I agree.
Beautiful. Right? Something like last question?
Last call, questions.
Last call.
From the German school, come on, somebody's got a question.
Oh, they must be pretty tired. I
Well,
guess.
maybe a
They
long
just
day.
had a long rehearsal and long walking. Yeah. Did you guys arrive yesterday, right? Okay. Yeah.
We had some time to recover.
Sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're glad to see you here. Absolutely. For how long are you staying?
Until Tuesday.
Until Tuesday.
Okay.
Good. So I hope you will have fun here, okay? Enjoy your stay here. Yeah, we'll be happy to see you. I'm here on Friday, so maybe I will try to reach to some activities you have here, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, Jared is leaving tomorrow, right? Or
Very early tomorrow, unfortunately, yeah.
tomorrow I'm here, and then you will have to fly to San Antonio again, right? So
Yep.
yeah,
To San
could
Antonio.
you just tell us something about San Antonio? I think I was very surprised that it's even bigger city than Prague, but
It is.
almost nobody have heard of it. Like, you know, since it doesn't have any NHL team, nobody knows it in Czech Republic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too many sports, but I know we have a basketball team and
Yeah.
a baseball team.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, and do you like it there?
Yeah, it's a really cool city. Most people only know like Austin or Dallas or something in Texas, but San Antonio is a very old, for American standards, an old city, and it used to be Mexico, so most people speak Spanish, and there's a lot of Mexican culture there, Mexican food, and more people actually speak Spanish as their first language than English in San Antonio, which is really, I think, really cool. Lots of places in the U.S. are just, you know, small town people that have never left that town, and there's not a lot of interesting sort of culture there.
Okay. Is there any famous band or artist from San Antonio? I know about Christopher Cross.
Christopher Cross is from there.
From there, yeah.
Gosh.
Anybody else? Do you have an idea?
Travis Scott, if you like pop rap guys. He actually went to the school I work at, which is kind of fun. I think Pedro Pascal is a San Antonio actor. I mean, he wasn't born there, but he lived there, I think, most of his life. I don't know, actually. It's kind of hard, again, to think of like names on the spot. But there are lots of people from there that are famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything like Czech related that can be found in San Antonio, like something?
Yes, that's true. I don't know the extent of the details, but there were many Czech people that lived in the area of Texas near San Antonio, and because of that, we have lots of kolache places, and we have certain like gas stations that are called the Czech stop, and you can get kolaches, and you know, I think it's kind of funny. I think kolaches are like the only thing that they know about from the Czech Republic, but kolaches are super popular, and there was a big Czech population. I don't really know all the details, but yeah.
Yeah, lots of are in Texas, Florida, and Chicago. Maybe
There's
a lot.
also a big German influence. A city I lived in was like mainly all German immigrants. It's called New Braunfels. It's just north of San Antonio, and there's tons of German restaurants. There's they do a beer festival it's like an Oktoberfest every year, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think like the main residents in that area were Germans and Czechs, like 200 years ago when they first moved there.
Yep, makes sense.
Other than the people that are from Mexico and indigenous people that were there first, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we all hope you enjoy your stay in Europe.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, do you like it here? Like in Europe? Have you been to Germany?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, where's your school from? Where you guys go to school? What city?
Next to Heidelberg.
Heidelberg. Okay.
Oh, I haven't
so,
been there.
Yeah. So Mannheim is like
Next
a little
to
close.
Mannheim.
That's Mannheim.
So now by car.
Yeah. My grand aunt Constante is from I think Weinheim. That's near Mannheim.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Meine Großtante Hedy, hello.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I've been to Berlin and oh my gosh, I can't even remember.
Did you have a chance to play with some musicians there? Or?
No, I didn't.
No?
I went in the winter time, which was very fun. The Christmas market is a fun thing to go to. But it was so cold. I don't think anybody was playing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have my guitar or anything either. I was just going for fun to visit a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, just idea what you say about the school. You had some chance to like check it out, right? So you like it here?
I do, yeah. The school is very nice. It's really cool to see, even like in what I would consider a small town, to have such like a prominent and large music school is really cool, and that people care about it, and you have a lot of students and parents that care, and you have funding. Like that's amazing.
Mhm.
It's actually very different from Texas. It's hard to have like an after-school music school with on such a large scale with that success.
Yeah,
I would
right.
say.
I would say like the most of the music schools in United States would be like probably private, right?
They're all private.
They're all private.
All
okay.
private, and
Yeah.
they're all usually very small.
The main difference is that here it's almost like all owned by the state.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean the public schools will have music lessons or things like that, but it's not very much, and it's usually not one-on-one lessons. It's kind of like in orchestra or something. So it's very different. Yeah, you're kind of like on your own.
Expensive to have lessons in the US?
It depends. I mean, you can get lessons maybe for like on the really cheap end, like $30 an hour or something.
Yeah, but very famous people though. Even like
$30
yeah.
1 hour?
I
Okay.
knew,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew that. Yeah, if you want to just
Is
play.
that a lot? Does that?
Yes, but you say it's very cheap, 30
Well-
for 1 hour, and we think that's a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of on the low end in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people study it like privately. If you want just to play, focus on the instrument and play, it's maybe even better to take private lessons in the US than to go to schools like Berklee, because at Berklee you have to do lots of tons and tons of like other stuff. So you sleep like 4 hours a day, or
Yeah.
exactly. That was my experience.
Yeah.
If you just want to focus on the instruments, it's much better to take lessons, even with famous people like Felix Pastorius. I think the son of Jaco Pastorius, he used to do, maybe he still does until today, like online lessons, and they weren't expensive at all. I was surprised.
Yeah, you can get online lessons for cheaper, maybe
Yeah.
like $20, or you can do like a half an hour sometimes for something shorter. But you know, if you're, a lot of teachers also like myself were self-employed,
Mhm.
so it's kind of hard to charge less than like $25, $30 because you prepare and you know, yeah, I would say
I would
that's
say like
kind
the
of,
$50-$60 would be fair. Right?
some people charge 50, 80.
I remember, yeah, some of the lessons were $1 per minute.
$1 per
So-
minute. Yeah. Yeah.
Very often.
That's pretty normal. Yeah.
But even famous people, yeah, $1 per minute, which was very nice deal. Okay?
It can-
back in 2015 when I was in America. I don't know how is it today. Maybe even $2 per minute are quite good. Yeah.
$2 per minute would be on the high end for sure.
High end.
Yeah. I would say $1 per minute is like average.
But compared to
average.
what you have to spend for a university, right, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're only going 2 or 4 times a month, then $30 is not too bad, I would say. For a private teacher, one-on-one, that gives you like full attention, I think that's not too bad. In the US, you know, I don't know what a private teacher in Germany would be
I
like
think
one-on-one.
we don't have 1 hour, it's not half an hour, and we at the music school, we have we even get money from the government, not from the government.
Yeah, from the government, from the-
community.
Right.
Yes, I think if you have to pay a private lesson without any help, it might be maybe the same.
Right, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I wish we had schools with funding like that. I mean, some schools are better than others about bringing in private teachers, but it's not like a thing that that every school is required to do. Yeah. So, hey, Europe is beating us. I mean, you got. I'm just saying, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, it's almost 9 p.m. Okay, so thank you very much for coming, for your
Yes.
attention.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you, Jerry, for coming here. Have a safe trip home
Of course.
tomorrow, and hope to see you next year.
I hope so too.
Okay? Děkujeme moc. Okay.
Yeah.
Want to just hang around?
Yeah. Feel free to.